Hello, my name is Andrew Lee, and I'm going to be talking to you today about individual feedback through the 360 feedback method. What is 360 feedback? 360 feedback is feedback from multiple sources. This is a good way to give somebody a performance review because it is a comprehensive analysis from different angles on somebody's ability. This is usually done through simple methods via a questionnaire or a survey. So that basically what 360 feedback is it's feedback from everybody who an individual works with at work. So this can be superiors, subordinates, colleagues, and customers. Um, this is lauded for its accuracy in presenting a whole picture of somebody's ability at work. It's generally done anonymously, and when a change agent is doing a 360 feedback or HR is doing 360 feedback, they usually refer to the person as the learner because the whole premise of it is the person can get, if they can get lots of good feedback, they'd be able to take that feedback and apply it and be a better worker. During my research for this, I came across an interesting article talking about 360 performance review paradoxes, and I'm sure this can be applied kind of to all performance reviews. So the paradox of roles describes how colleagues are more likely to give positive feedback rather than straining relationships. Um, in this case, performance reviews are not always helpful if everyone's getting positive feedback. Paradox of group performance. Well-performing groups and not so well-performing groups both kind of loathe performance reviews. They view them as an annoyance, especially the low-performing group. They'll view it as management trying to find somebody to blame for the low performance. So what ends up happening is they don't really take it too seriously or they just ignore it altogether. Um, as described, 360 feedback uses kind of a simple rating system, 1 through 10s usually on ratings to measure somebody's performance. This is a very simple way to measure things. It's kind of one-dimensional, so you don't get the bigger picture. And the paradox of rewards. When you have pay and promotions linked to performance reviews, you'll find that in the short term, people will work more efficiently because they want to make more money or get a promotion. But when that's over, they kind of go back to how they were. So the performance reviews kind of don't serve any purpose. The strengths of 360 feedback. So I think hands down the biggest strength is going to be the multiple points of view. So rather in a one-on-one setting where the person conducting the performance review might have some type of bias, either positively or negatively towards the person they are doing the performance review on. The 360 feedback is a little bit more comprehensive, and you can get a larger scope of how that person is at work and their working ability. As mentioned, it counters the bias that you might find from one individual person. Weaknesses of 360 feedback. As mentioned, the paradoxes I think stand out. Um, for 360 feedback specifically, I think the biggest one is going to be the paradox of measurement. So it's great. You can have a comprehensive analysis of somebody for multiple people and kind of get a big picture. Uh, However, there aren't a lot of details when you're just ranking somebody 1 through 10. Um, so you can't really get a closer look at what the real story is. Another weakness of 360 feedback, and this is also something to consider, is it can demoralize employees. If somebody knows they're getting a 360 feedback and they get a bunch of negative reviews from all their colleagues, it can isolate and alienate people from their job their colleagues. Um, so that is something to keep in mind. So, where can we apply 360 feedback? I think this is going to work best in an office setting, specifically tech. I will get to why I chose tech in 1 second. I have only ever worked retail. I've never had a performance review in my life, so it's just not something that happens in retail. I think this applies more for offices where somebody might interact with other office workers on a pretty consistent basis. Um, so why tech? It's really not a secret that tech is male dominated, and some tech companies have a frat boy culture. Um, I think if these companies were to skillfully take a 360 performance review for each worker, especially in an office where they've had issues with harassment, here the rating system might actually work well if you focus on sexual harassment and discrimination, because in cases like those, there's probably not much of a deeper explanation needed, um, and the fact that it's anonymized um, also works well. So, if somebody is there not partaking in any of the harassment or discrimination, they can still kind of rate other people on what they see, and that is a way to hold people accountable. And these are my references. Thank you.